Say, this one's for you. I'm afraid that if I start lifting heavy and eating a lot of protein, I'm going to get bulky.
I'm not gonna lie, I thought the same thing back in the day. I thought like, oh, lifting heavy weights, I'm gonna get gigantic muscles and look like a man.
Yeah,
But
you do that curl. All of a sudden, Arnold, look at my biceps and tell me I'm pretty. Like that's gonna happen the first time you pick up a weight.
But it's funny because, like, first of all, I've heard a lot of things about this, like online and stuff. First of all, it's kind of discounting how much hard work that other people put in to look like that. Like, you're discounting like, oh, it must be just so easy to get there that I'm just going to accidentally happen upon it. And it's like, no, those people put in tons of work and are being very strict and intentional to get those results. And it takes time. And so,
Years.
like, the fact that some people think, like, oh, if I touch a weight or eat protein, like, I'm going to turn into, like, some muscle, like, body. And it's like,
Quadzilla.
no, that's not really how it works.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not that easy, first of all. And
what you said, like, it's so true. People just think like if I'm gonna lift, I don't want to get bulky. And it's like, man, you'd have to put in so much work. Do you know how much time that takes? First of all, do you know how much protein you have to eat to do that? Do you know how much progressive overload you have to do that, and over what period of time? Like, there's so many elements that go into that. What kind of workouts you're doing? Like, it's very intentional. When you see these women at the CrossFit Games, they look like that because they train a very specific way. Their nutrients, the things they eat, very specific way, and not all of them are natty. So there's that as well. But I think another, you kind of brought up something a little bit, the bulky part. Can you talk a little bit around like what you had to get over mentally? Because a lot of people look at your body and they say, "Hey, oh my gosh, I want to look like her." You had comments on your back and your legs and stuff. But like, talk about how you had to get over what the scale said when you stepped on it.
So I feel like there's a big, like, misconception with women that they're like, oh, I have to either weigh a certain amount, or like if you've had babies, like, oh, I got to get back to pre-baby weights, or I'm not fit until I do that. And I put myself under that same thing for 3 of my pregnancies, where I was like, oh, I got to get back to pre-baby weight to prove that I'm, like, back in shape.
Yeah.
And then my last pregnancy, I still was, like, kind of mentally operating that way, but we were kind of approaching fitness, like, different and more consistently, and eating protein and all that kind of stuff to get the results that we were looking for. And I kind of had to let go of the, like, I got to get back to that weight, and I can't weigh more than a certain amount or anything like that, because, I mean, like, I saw a thing online that said your dream body probably weighs a lot more than you think it does.
Yep.
And I was like, oh my gosh, like...
It's important to note that, like, muscle weighs more than fat, first of all. So if you're going for a body recomposition, if you're trying to look a certain way, chances are you're going to weigh more than you were when you were kind of fluffy and a little bit overweight. When you have the muscle,
gonna look different.
And you're gonna look different. You're gonna look great. So when you say, "Hey, your dream body weighs a lot more than you think it does," it's very true.
Yeah.
I mean,
and that's weird mentally to look at the scale and be like, "Oh my gosh, I've never weighed this much in my life." But then you try on clothes and you look in the mirror and whatever, and you're like, "But I like the way I look, or I'm looking good. Things are fitting better, or I have muscle showing, or whatever." And you have to think, okay, why am I attached to this number that I think I have to?
I think societally, it's really been pushed on women and men. Like, to get the dream body, you've got to diet. It's diet culture, right? Like, oh, you have to weigh a certain amount and you have to look a certain way. And I think it's just been impressed upon us that, like, the scale is what matters. But what matters is, how do you feel? Right? Do you feel good? Do you feel good about yourself? Do you feel good about yourself when you look in the mirror? Right? But also, like, are you eating foods that are making you feel good? And are they fueling your lifestyle? Are they fueling your body? Right? So there's so much more that goes into it than what a stupid scale says. Yeah. Right? And, like, what a BMI calculator. Don't even get me started on BMI calculations. Those things are freaking terrible. I'm obese, apparently.
Also,
yeah.
This
go for
really
it.
Just a side note.
Yeah.
Having a certain number that you think you're supposed to weigh. That I feel like that doesn't account for the societally, it doesn't account for height. So, like, I am really tall.
Yes.
So this, like, number that I feel like most women are like, I have to weigh this amount to be considered, like, petite and skinny. And it's like, I'm super tall. If I weigh that amount, like, I'm going to be a toothpick. And I know because I, like, right before our wedding, I got down, like...
You got rail skin thin.
I got really low because I was trying to lose weight. I was basically starving myself, kind of unintentionally, but, like, I was trying to get to this certain weight.
I had to tell you to put on some weight. I had to intervene there because it's getting weird.
And, so I, like, to me, that's just funny that we have, like, this one weight, but it's not like that weight varies really per size.
There's so many different body types.
For height.
Everybody's different, right? Biologically, we are so different, right? Like, and everybody's different shape, a different size, different hormones. So it's really not a one size fit all. But the scale says you should weigh this. Like, societally, you should weigh this. And just, I think it's important to break away from that mindset.
Yeah.
Yeah. You look great. I'd eat you for dinner.